Welcome to the next project. This is episode 1 in my Harley Benton T-Style guitar kit mod project series. In the previous video, I put together a Telecaster Style kit, and this series, I'll be taking that kit and cutting it up and turning it into an Acoustasonic inspired guitar. I'm going to take this guitar, and in this episode, I'm going to turn it into this. With the help of a bunch of templates and time and some router bits and some head scratching and hopefully enough forethought to know what problems I'm going to run into, we'll get through this. So let's start the next project. Before I did any cutting, I did a tracing of the body onto a piece of grid paper, scanned that, took it into Adobe Illustrator, and tried to figure out what I was going to be getting into when the guitar hit the bench. I didn't exactly follow what I'm drawing here, but it gave me a good base point to start from. I was hoping to avoid any mistakes or surprises, and I think this step really helped quite a bit. And now I'm making a master template, duplicate of the body using 1/4" MDF, which is 6mm. Actually, I think it's 6mm MDF that we just call 1/4". And this is what I call a master template, and it is only used to make other templates. It's not used for any actual woodworking. So from this master template, I will make other templates, either other body duplicate templates or inset templates or whatever, but I don't use a master or the master template for actual woodworking. I've used the master body duplicate template to trace the shape onto this piece of MDF, and now I'm doing basically what I had done on the computer, and I'm freehanding in the setback of the top shape onto the body. This template will serve two purposes. The outer part of the donut will be what I call a kerf ledge template, and the inner waist part, the donut hole, will be used and be part of what will become the new top shape templates. This is the donut hole cutaway waist portion of the kerf ledge template that I just made, and I'm putting a 45-degree bevel on it, which will give me a little bit more surface area for the auto body filler that I'm going to be using in just a moment. Here I'm using some vinyl exterior grade masking tape, and it will be working like a release agent, so the auto body filler won't stick. However, it will bond to the MDF pretty well. And I put some wax paper down, and just so I don't bond everything together. And I'm just crushing the auto body filler into the gap between the two template portions and peel it all apart when it's dry. And the Bondo doesn't really stick to the yellow tape, but the inner part pops out pretty well. And now I have a rough inner template that I can use to create a master template and make other templates from that. Speaking of that, now I'm using that Bondo template to create a template that I'll use to cut out the new top, and this one is set up to have about a 60/1000 width binding channel all the way around. This is a binding router bit that I'm using. I think I got it at Stu Mac a dozen years ago. And you can change the bearings, the size of the bearing, the diameter of the bearing on the bit to get different depth cuts. I added tape, like 2 layers of masking tape to the bearing to fine-tune the depth of cut that I needed to match the binding I'm going to use. With all of the big templates made, it is just about time to start cutting into the body. But before I did that, I made a paper guide so I knew where most of the important things are, and I can take measurements after the fact. Once the wood is gone, it's hard to measure where something might have been. So this is a way to look back. Well, almost all of the templates are ready for removing a lot of material from the body. But before I start cutting away at the body, I want to add a kind of a belly contour shape. Not a typical big scoop like on a Stratocaster or something like that, or things that I've done on other guitars. But on this, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to be using a 1-inch roundover and selectively passing it through a spot on the back to just open up the eased edge, take it from that fine like 1/4-inch roundover that the body has to a swoop where there's about a 1-inch contour. This is an experiment. It could go either way. Let's give that a try. And the time has finally come to start removing some lumber from this body. I started out, I think this is a 2-inch Forstner bit, and I used, 3 different size Forstner bits altogether. Maybe a 3/4, about a 1 1/4, and the 2-inch. And here in just a moment, I also scavenged or salvaged or cannibalized a piece of wood out of the body. That should be coming up right about. Oh, here we go. I cracked out about a 3/8 inch thick piece, and I'm gonna save that. I wanted to have some wood with the right grain and everything. I have a little work to do on the neck pocket, and also one of the screw holes in the neck pocket, I'm gonna fill it because I'm gonna change the shape of the neck plate. So I wanted to have the right wood to use for patching. One last thing to do for the day is to start the forearm contour, the eased edge. And I used a Shinto rasp to do a lot of the material removal. If you're not familiar with a Shinto rasp, they're very similar to like a hacksaw blade, a different coarseness. One side is very coarse, the other side's kind of fine. And it's formed to create a rasp. Followed that up with some 120, 220, and 320 sandpaper just to get the forearm contour about where I wanted it. And just slipped everything together to take a look at the work, and it's coming along pretty nice. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please ring the bell, subscribe, leave comments. I love hearing from you guys. Be safe, and take care.